Hi everyone, bonjour à toutes. Welcome to Mom's Hot Method, redefining hotness by the mother's gaze, making motherhood the growth hack experience you were looking for. Hi everyone, welcome back on Mom's Hot Method. We here today. We're here today to discuss pregnancy and how to hustle like a hot mom when you're pregnant. And I would say the most important thing is, oh sweetie, hey, the most important thing is very much to change the narrative about pregnancy. And if you decide that as a pregnant woman you're hot and you feed this information to your brain and you decide that a bump is nice. A bump is something to cherish. A bump is something that will give you like the best thing in your life. Then you feed positivity to your brain and you feel much better.
Yeah.
Now there are little hacks that I think we can share from how to avoid nausea in the first trimester and maintain high energy during the whole thing. But
I would say the first month is tricky to have. I was very nauseous with both the first month.
Yeah, I think it's also, I always say, like that, like, I think pregnancy is an exercise in humility. You need to accept that for the first 3 months of the pregnancy, at least in my case, you feel crap.
Yeah.
And that's it. And to me, I see it as a season. It's the season
Yeah.
of rain. And I wake up in the morning and, I feel nauseous and I feel grumpy because being nauseous is awful. Disgusted by coffee.
Yeah.
So I can't even have like my sort of like little
And we
kick.
love coffee.
And I love coffee. But the second you accept it, the better.
Yeah.
So you let this 3 months be, and then you know that it's not gonna be forever, and it's your season of being patient. And I'm gonna grab a bottle.
And it's the best feeling when you feel like the nauseous is going away, you're getting a bit energy back, and the second trimester is amazing, I would say. But I, for example, had very different, like the first pregnancy, I had an amazing pregnancy, but I just like, it was weird to have the changes
Totally.
in my body, and I was so nauseous, and I was like also a bit scared to tell people the first 3 months because of we lost one before that. So, but then the second time around, yes, I mentioned before, but then I went into it like I'm gonna own this changes and really love my body for what it's giving us. And that was such a, I was happy I went into my second pregnancy with that kind of mindset, because I regretted not kind of loving it as much as I wish I did the first time around.
Yeah, indeed, like the second pregnancy, I feel is like kinder to you because you know what you're walking in.
Yeah.
And you know what you can do better. I also think it's important as moms to like also share practical hacks, and I feel like the one thing that I wish I knew first time pregnant for the first trimester is that it's not really 3 months, the nausea. It's more like 3 months and a half, close to 4 months.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
so long.
It is long. It's
And-
longer than 3 months. And also, there are little hacks and there's not really any drugs. So the hacks for me was, there's this thing in French pharmacy, it's like ginger, little gummies, works really well. Then snacking small but often.
Yeah, I was the same. Like I couldn't have big meals. It was just like snacking all the time.
And I would say also like one thing that really helped me through is listening to my body. So whenever my body would want like, I don't know, like pasta, even if it was 10 a.m.,
Yeah.
I would have the pasta.
Did you have those kind of cravings? Like,
I did.
Yeah,
but
I
like
didn't.
healthy ones. I had like that was actually quite funny. I had an obsession with like not canned, but bottled orange juice, but like the Tropicana vibes.
oh wow.
But at the end of the day, it was my body needed the sugar.
Yeah,
and
I had it with
embraced
apple juice. Same. Like
I needed this.
yeah.
And I embraced it, and I didn't fight my body. And at the end of the day, I think, as women, okay, sweetie. At the end of the day, I think as moms, before becoming a mom, you fight your body a lot.
Yeah.
As women, you fight your body a lot. You're like, okay, I need to be that weight, I need to do this, I need to do that. And I think what motherhood brings is your body is your ally. It's
Yeah.
something you need to take care of. And I think, was reading this Kardashian's quote the other day saying, my body, no, on Sunday I take care of my garden, and that's it. My body is my garden.
Yeah.
And I really feel that that's what motherhood brings. You realize how amazing your body is. You realize that it's making something like extraordinary.
But it's much easier the second time around, I think, because the first time you think it's like, oh, or especially for me, I was like, is this changes that's going to be there forever? And when you then, the second time around, you know, it's like, it's just a season and a period. And if you, it's kind of more exciting and you can be more.
I think you know what you're walking in. It doesn't mean though that I think for me, like the nausea the first trimester with the second baby was still awful.
Yeah.
But I think it's just at least you know that it's really gonna end. Because
Yeah.
the first time around I was like, oh yeah, sure it's gonna end. It's never gonna end. It will. I also feel like, what is super nice in pregnancy is that again it's seasons. Yes, you're gonna have like hard time at the beginning, but then like when the nesting hormones
Yeah.
kick in, you feel like superwoman.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, the time in my life I've never been that happy. I felt like I could do so much.
Did you get like very nesting mode both times? Like
Both times.
a long time before the birth?
Yeah. I really like had this superpower. I actually had struggle like, well, I mean, at some point you struggle sleeping anyway, because like you're so big and like your bladder wakes you up
Yeah.
10 times because everything sort of like shrinks. Like, I mean, everything get like pushed by the tummy.
Yeah.
But the
I
thing
sleep
is,
so well bad when I'm pregnant.
it is really hard. But also like I felt, the way, again, it's a lot of like changing the narrative. I felt it was an opportunity to actually, like, when I was on the last trimester, when I was like sleeping little, I was like, you know what, it's getting me ready
Yeah.
for the sleepless nights.
Yeah.
No,
I thought that the first time around, but then the second time when you have like a baby who sleeps well during the night and you're like, I want to sleep while I can until the baby arrives, then it was...
True.
But I also get these, both pregnancy, I got like these leg cramps where
Oh,
it's
putain,
like
same.
the whole night, which
Yeah.
I think is very common.
Same in the calves.
Yeah, and then it's just makes it, can't sleep at all. And I didn't know about this. Didn't know the first
It's a
time
lack
around
of,
it was.
it's a lack of magnesium.
Yeah.
So anyone that gets cramps, it's a lack of magnesium. You can have bananas.
I took a
normally-
lot of magnesium supplements.
Yeah.
That helps.
It does like definitely ask your doctor, because like some magnesium or potassium you can't have.
Yeah.
But like you can find it. I remember, and that's something that I really want like to share is your body knows. Like I found out that I had like a potassium and vitamin A lack, that I was lacking vitamin A, and I was craving peaches. It was summer, and
Oh.
then I googled like what does peaches has, and it's like vitamin A. So listen to your cravings.
Yeah.
Your
a lot
body
of
is not
women
your
have
enemy.
apple cravings, and I had that as well. There's something in apple that makes you really crave. It has something while you're pregnant.
But that's the thing. So I think like
Pink lady apples.
oh, boo. And I think like again, like see your body as an ally.
Yeah.
Listen to it instead of fighting it. So
Yeah.
like how.
And I think
I-
also if you have the energy, take care of it. Like
Oh,
not
totally.
don't have to work out the same way as you did before. But for example, like go for long walks or do some low, like Pilates or yoga, just so you feel like you're in sync with it when you're gonna.
I think the Pilates for me is more like it's the Pilates brain.
Yeah.
I feel when I work out, like, I mean, we see men hitting the gym and like, we're like, oh, well done. Like, it's the same, being pregnant. My husband said this to me, and at the beginning I was like, okay, well, no uterus, no opinion. But he said, being pregnant is not a disease. And I think this is the way. Either you have like, some challenges, medical challenges
Yeah.
during the pregnancy, which is, like you're called to take care of yourself the right way. But if you don't see it as something that like is an obstacle.
Yeah.
You can do so much while pregnant. I've been to reformer every other day, more than I had so much energy to kill.
Me too.
And
The second trimester, but the first, I don't think I went
no,
one
the first
time.
is awful. The first is awful, and also like okay, so for the women who are listening out, like first time pregnant or willing to get pregnant, or the first trimester, babes, you just have to.
And it's
suck
also
it
the
up.
worst time because you maybe don't want to tell everyone, and then you feel like
And the thing is,
shit.
you're not pregnant yet, but you just feel like bloated, and you have all the
So
organs,
unfair.
Like, we feel for you if you're pregnant, like
Yeah.
the first time around, but it's not gonna last. And it's just like embrace it. I slept a lot during the first trimester. I was like, you know what? I need
Yeah.
to go to bed at 6 p.m. and that's it. And you know when you that's also something else. When you're first time pregnant, enjoy it.
Oh, I said
my
that to my
God.
friends when I was pregnant. Now, second time around, they were first time. They were like, "I'm so sleepy. I'm just like I want to chill." And I was like, "You have to do it now because my
The second time
daughter
around, you
didn't
can't.
start nursery until I was 8 months pregnant or something. So there's like no time to rest."
No, honestly, I remember like being first time pregnant and like being, oh my god, this is so hard. And then second time was like, how little did I know?
Yeah,
Like that I
Should've
should
slept
sleep.
then.
Exactly. What else could we like? The little like. I think you definitely changed the narrative. You know, like I grew up in France where like a pregnant lady was not something. I remember my mom actually saying that, you know, like pregnancy is gross and, you know, it's not something. And if I heard it, other women probably heard it. It is bullshit. It's
Yeah.
the hardest thing. And you know why? Because it is actually, no, I think how to me is if you believe it's hot, you know how we say there's nothing more beautiful than confidence, self confidence.
And
the same
it's
in
funny
pregnancy.
now when you've been pregnant and you see another woman pregnant, or especially I feel like that, then I'm like, oh my god, it's so beautiful.
It
It's
is.
just it's growing, and then I know a lot of men also think it's very sexy with
is so sexy.
pregnant women, which I understand because they're like growing
Yeah,
life.
which
in
by
them.
the way, like watch out for like those fetish like men. Like I got so many weirdos coming to me and be like, "Oh, you're such a, you know, it's so nice your bum." I was like, "Dude, don't. It's gross."
Yeah.
Also, there's like someone else baby in there. Like, really, do you want to like steal that pot? Like,
Only your husband can have that.
exactly. No, so you know, I think the second you're confident as a pregnant woman, and
Yeah.
it means that we were saying this in a former episode, and a past episode, tune out. If you want to embrace motherhood and pregnancy positively, don't listen to negative. Just don't.
Yeah.
Anyone who's like you know, like poo poo partying pregnancy. Anyone who's like, oh, pregnancy is like, you know, like the worst, da da da. Like, if you hear it, tune it out. Because if you feed yourself with
Mixed
negative
cities.
thoughts,
Yeah.
negative things, surround yourself by, if you want to embrace it as a positive journey, follow the mom who love pregnancy on Instagram. We can actually
Yeah.
send you a lot of like references. We can put some references of like empowering mom. Follow brands that celebrate pregnancy. Go to your friends that love being pregnant. Avoid the friends that, sorry, but complain all the time.
But it's
always
good
gonna
now
be-
how it's like more focused on like embracing the bump, like showing it off than it was before, like a few years ago, where it's and now it's a lot of like maternity clothes are to focus on the belly, which is
Yeah, with by the way, I also feel like maternity clothes is just like something that I personally never like sort of like engaged with.
Me
I feel
too.
To me, like a oversized white shirt, oversized like jeans.
yeah.
Like a
My
tank
hack
top.
was buying men's Levi's jeans because they're larger in the waist, and then I put them under the belly, so that's my
Yeah, I borrowed
Mom
stuff
hack.
from my husband. I didn't want it for some. The thing is, if you love fashion and you love an outfit, then honestly, like you're gonna put away. And no matter how some people say, oh, there's this brand and this brand is made for you, it opens. Like no, then it's functional and technical. It's not fashion.
yeah.
So I actually enjoyed like wearing oversized, and there are even things that I wore pregnant and not pregnant. I just like wore it lower waist
Yeah.
and then high waist.
Yeah.
So
And the
if you don't
Skims
feel like
dresses are amazing for
which one?
the Skims dresses that you could like have a shirt
Yes.
over. That was like my go-to if I didn't know what to wear with a bump, and they're
True.
so comfy also. Like it's literally like wearing no clothes.
True. I think the only pregnancy stuff that I got were probably like actually no, it was breastfeeding bra.
yeah.
The rest I like
I'm the same.
And stretchy.
I bought
Stretchy
like
things.
some tights oversized, like
Yes.
a size bigger, so you can have them
Yes.
over the belly. But I
Actually,
didn't like
yeah.
those. I tried once, like the maternity tights, but
Yeah.
it was too much because I had so much. I was itching a lot in my
Yes, same,
skin,
same, same. My belly
so I
was
couldn't
itching.
have a lot of
Something on- yeah.
covers.
I bought one, no, actually, I bought one pair of tights from like, I think Calzedonia or something. They had like this heart shape over the belly. That was really cute, but it indeed itching so much.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you will have like, as your, with the hormones and the stretching of the skin, you're gonna have itches, and I definitely recommend, as a self-care, just moisturize. Like
Yeah.
honestly, moisturize as much as you can.
I used this dry skin oil that I used morning and night because I was itching so much. So I couldn't use even lotion. It had to be like oil, which was very helpful.
And then, you know, another thing that I've heard like during my pregnancy, and I was like, okay, let them, but not for me, and I will never carry on that narrative. Showing the bump is tacky, trashy. And I was like, you know what? This is maybe like, you know, old like school, and I'm not embracing it. I think if you make it trashy, then what does it mean about like the fact that, you know, like women are feeling empowered? If you're, you know, not on, I think it's the wrong direction. I think if we love pregnancy, we should not be. What's the problem? So like you can have a woman model on a catwalk being half naked, but a bump is wrong. No, not
So
right.
strange. I remember I like a few times wore the bump like out and walked on the streets here in London, and there was like some men that looked at me like a bit strange, and I was just like,
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
wrong?
One tip that I would give, so like how to, you know, like do pregnancy in an empowering way, which here we would qualify as hot, is get the photo shoot. I loved celebrating, you know, if you're a bit creative, it's an opportunity to like, you know, sort of like direct your own shoot. You can get on mood boards. You can, it's also like a moment for your husband and you to get nice pictures. And the thing is, you know, if you don't celebrate yourself, if you don't celebrate your pregnancy, yeah, okay, it's gonna be annoying.
Yeah.
You know,
I
but if you
regretted so much not doing it with the first, so the second time around you
Yeah.
helped me with fine. And I think also having a photographer, if you're not so used to doing a picture of yourself, like where you feel comfortable, because in those pictures it's important to
Right.
feel
Super
comfortable. And it was
empowered.
so nice to like have her in our
Yeah.
home and where you feel the most comfortable, so they look natural.
And now it's my go-to. One of my cousins got pregnant, and I said, "Darling, your sister will get the baby shower. I will get the baby shoot." And it's actually such a nice
Yeah.
gift.
Such a nice gift, yeah.
The baby shower, I would say also is like, you know, if you don't want to have it, don't have it. But I believe that, you know, it's nice to get with your girlfriends. It's
Yeah.
nice to, again, I never understand people who say, "Oh, I don't want to celebrate." But why? Celebration is joy.
We
It's
should
love.
celebrate all the things
all
we
the
can.
time. Exactly.
But a few friends of mine have had sip and see, which is like with the baby. So they don't want to do it before, but then when the baby's a few months, it's like all the girlfriends meet up together.
What is the name?
Sip and see. And then they like, you have some drinks
I would
together
love that.
and they bring the baby, and that's the only baby there. So like all your friends can meet the baby, and so it's a nice
Sip
way of,
and see, like
Yeah.
sipping.
and see.
I love that.
And see the baby, right?
Okay, so last part of this episode on pregnancy, I want to hear you, Ricky, about one hack that makes you feel hotter during your pregnancy.
Oh, I would say I had, as I mentioned, such a itching in my whole body, and the skin was so dry, so I had to put on like body oil every morning and evening, and I woke up like having to put on more because my skin was itching. There's something that hormonal that changes when you're pregnant, so
Yeah.
I've heard it happens to many. So I used like this dry skin oil. I think my favorite was from brand Nux or something. And you bought
Nux
it.
is so nice.
It's so nice. They have it at like
and it smells really good. It's one of
pharmacies.
the
It's not expensive, and I just covered my whole body, and it smells like summer. So that's mine.
It's called L'Huile Prodigieuse, and it's one of the French best-selling oil.
Yeah, I can
Comme
imagine.
you know it, actually.
It's
My
my
lip balm
go-to.
is- I have one in every room.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the lip balm.
Very good.
So on my end, I would say like what really made me feel empowered during my pregnancy is actually all the books about the fourth trimester, and we'll touch base on the fourth trimester on the next episode. But especially one called The Happiest Baby on the Block, which is by Dr. Karp, that explains a very simple method on how to recreate the womb for the fourth
Yeah.
trimester. And that gave me actually a sense of, okay, I'm ready. So that's really super nice. It's called the 5S methods. And I really encourage, it's super simple, very few rules, but so efficient.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's something you definitely want to check out.
Good tips.
As we always say, our love language is sharing a good tips with another mom. So if you like the podcast, don't hesitate to share it with your mom friends. Merci.
Thank you.
And that's it for today. And thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Our love language is to share good tips with other good moms. So if you like it, share it with your mom friends or for the women in your life that might want to be moms and might need a tip or two.